Hey, welcome everyone. Apparently my my sound effects don't seem to be working. Oh well, what are we gonna do? Welcome to Coffee and Nuance. I'm your host, Tom Coffee. Today we got a very special occasion to celebrate. It's Edward Snowden's 40th birthday. That's right. The man who blew the whistle on mass surveillance and ignited a global conversation about privacy and government overreach. So happy birthday, Edward Snowden. Now, I know some of you are thinking, Tom, how can you celebrate someone who's been labeled a traitor by some people? Well, really? Really? Well, let me tell you something, folks. Heroes don't always wear capes. They aren't always celebrated at first. Edward Snowden is a hero in my book, and today we're going to honor him. You see, Snowden had the courage to expose the truth, to shine a light on the secret operation of the NSA and its British counterpart, GCHQ. He sacrificed his own freedom, leaving his life behind to ensure that the people knew the extent of the surveillance state we're living in. And for that, he deserves our gratitude. Snowden's revelations made us question our government, our tech companies, and the very nature of power itself. He showed that our trust has been misplaced, and that governments and corporations had taken advantage of it. We owe him a debt of gratitude for waking us up from this complacency. Now, I know there are those that will say Snowden's actions harm national security. Let me ask you this. Should we sacrifice our privacy and civil liberties for the illusion of security? Snowden made us confront this very question, and it's one we should continue to ask ourselves. Today, as we celebrate Edward Snowden's birthday, let's also celebrate the impact he had on our society. Because of him, we now have greater awareness of our digital footprint, a demand for transparency, and a push for stronger privacy protections. He reminded us that the fight for our rights is an ongoing battle. So, happy birthday, Edward Snowden. Thank you for your courage, your sacrifice, and for being a voice for the voiceless. May your legacy continue to inspire us to question authority and to fight for our fundamental rights. My name's Tom Coffee. This is the Coffee Nuance Show, the best censored commentary and news show live right now. Flame on. All right, gonna have to fix that audio problem. Yikes. But anyway, Edward Snowden, here's to you. Happy birthday. I know you're stuck over there in Russia with your wife and baby. I can't even remember how to say happy birthday in Russian. Zan Rizdanya? Something like that. This is vodka, because you're in Russia. Yeah. Anyway, Edward Snowden was a whistleblower, and he revealed his mass surveillance by U.S. and British intelligence agencies in 2013. In this recent interview that he did, talking about 10 years in exile, he warned that surveillance technologies become even more advanced and intrusive today. In an interview on the 10th anniversary of his revelations, Snowden expressed concern about the erosion of privacy in both the physical and digital world. He highlighted the dangers posed by government, big tech companies, and commercial surveillance cameras, facial recognition, artificial intelligence, and spyware like Pegasus. Snowden emphasized that technology has grown enormously influential, making the capabilities of governments in 2013 seem like child's play. Now, despite criticism and his exile in Russia, Snowden has no regrets for his actions. He believed that the leaks had positive effects, such as widespread adoption of end-to-end encryption by big tech companies. However, Snowden cautioned that the fight for privacy is an ongoing process that will require continuous effort. The intelligence agencies acknowledge the privacy debate provoked by Snowden, but argue that the damage to the capabilities outweighs the benefits. Of course, they'd say that. Snowden disputes these claims, stating there's absolutely no evidence has been presented to support that point of view. So, yeah, I initially had something else I was going to talk about today, and about 90 minutes before, 90 minutes ago, I realized it was Edward Snowden's 40th birthday. This is something we need to celebrate. So, I tried to put together a little something. Cheers to Edward Snowden. He really is a hero of mine. I think back to, and it really takes either like guts or just being really naive to do something like this, and maybe a little bit of both. You know, I make everything about me. That's how I operate. I don't know if that makes me human or not. I think about some times that I had the chance to blow the whistle on something not as big as this, obviously. But I had the chance to do something like that, and I didn't. I caved. I didn't do it. And I can't even tell you what it is. But there were 2 times that I had an opportunity to blow the whistle on something, to fight the good fight. And I didn't do it. Now, we can't go back and change those things. And I don't know. You know, perhaps if I had done that, my life, I would have had a totally different life than I do today. But I didn't have the guts. I didn't have the guts like Edward Snowden did. And so I really admire him greatly. And I really despise people. I despise people that are critical of him and call him a traitor. I think that's all projection. That's my take. But yeah, I can't think of anything more American than what Edward Snowden did, and so I do salute you, Edward. Happy birthday. I got a good show for you today. I got a number of stories to get to today, not that many. And, of course, I'll be ending with some positive, good news. Remember, stick around for the after show. I'll be going through all of your comments on both Rumble and YouTube. And do me a favor, hit that like button. Doesn't cost you a thing. It means a lot to me. It means something to me. So if you do that as a favor to me, I appreciate you. Now, next, let's get to, turns out there may have been a peace deal with this Ukraine conflict. Did you hear about this on the NBC Nightly News? You probably didn't. I'll tell you about it next. Did you hear about Putin's claim that Ukraine signed a peace treaty with Russia and then ditched it? I guess Ukraine took the break up and throw away method to a whole new level. It's like they're saying, sorry, peace, it's not you. Well, actually, it's totally you. I can only imagine the awkwardness at the negotiation table. Hey, Putin, can we just be friends without the benefits of a peace treaty? It's like a modern-day relationship status update. It's complicated, but mostly because Ukraine keeps ghosting peace. That was not very good. I don't know. Some days I got better jokes than others. Russian President Vladimir Putin accused Ukraine of signing a peace treaty with Russia called the Treaty of Permanent Neutrality and Security Guarantees of Ukraine, and then reneged on it after Russia withdrew its troops from Kyiv. Putin made these comments during a meeting with African Union leaders in St. Petersburg. The peace mission is important for Africa due to its reliance on food and fertilizer deliveries from both Russia and Ukraine, which has been disrupted by the war. The Ukrainian side has not commented on Putin's accusations. Well, that's kind of interesting. I watched this speech that Putin gave, and he held up the papers and showed them. Apparently, they had a peace deal all worked out. It was signed. They withdrew from being around Kyiv. And then, apparently, someone got in Zelensky's ear. I wonder who that could be. So, had it not been from the meddling of those Western leaders, there would have been peace in Ukraine a year ago. Yeah. Shouldn't this be the biggest headline story of the day? Shouldn't this be the biggest? I mean, I know there's a sub with some billionaires in it that's lost. I get that. That's exciting. But shouldn't, if true, if there was a peace deal and the West came in and made Ukraine go back on a peace deal with Russia, that should be the biggest story. That should be the biggest story of the month. I'm not seeing that story. Are you? Did you see that on the nightly news? They talking about this on CNN nonstop? No, it's a sub with some billionaires. Apparently, that's the big story. And you know, Biden's kid got a slap on the wrist. Okay, those are stories. But to me, this is a massive story. And kind of tells you all you need to know. The fact that you probably didn't even hear about it. So, yeah, yikes. Anyway, we got another silly story to get to. This one involves the Pentagon, because they think we're a bunch of big dummies. Hey, did you hear about the Pentagon's accounting error with Ukraine? Turns out they were playing Guess the Value instead of using basic math. It's like they thought they were on an episode of The Price is Right, and instead of handling billions of dollars, come on, Pentagon, this isn't a game show, but hey, at least Ukraine gets a surprise bonus. It's like winning a jackpot when you didn't even buy a ticket. Maybe next time they should hire an accountant who's not a fan of Plinko. So here's the story. The Pentagon admitted to overestimating the value of weapons sent to Ukraine by $6.2 billion over the past 2 years, doubling the initial estimates. This accounting error means there's now a surplus that will be used for future security packages. The mistake was due to using replacement cost instead of book value of equipment taken from Pentagon stocks. Despite the error, the Pentagon now has extra funds to support Ukraine's counteroffensive against Russia. The U.S. has provided less than $34 billion in aid to Ukraine compared to the previously reported $40 billion. The exact remaining amount and details of the aid package has not been disclosed. The Pentagon assures that the accounting mistakes will not affect the delivery of ongoing aid to Ukraine. Well, how about that? Outside of like a regular MSNBC viewer, does a single person buy this nonsense? This is ridiculous. And in fact, this accounting error that they made, this is so basic, I think that this would be covered in high school accounting, not even like freshman college accounting. This is high school level accounting error. They think we're idiots. Or they know that they have the entire media that's going to back them up so they can pull this kind of nonsense. So, oh, we made an error. Turns out we got an extra $6 billion. So rather than using those funds, they go, oh, well, we got all this extra money. Now we can send even more money to Ukraine. We can send even more aid. I wonder where that's going. I think I'll have a story on that tomorrow on which global entity do you think just got a deal to rebuild Ukraine? And that'll be a cliffhanger. I'll tell you about that tomorrow because I just read about it now. But they just think we're dumb. There is no way that this is an accident. There is a 0% chance that this is an error. 0%. I am so confident that this is not an error. I would bet any amount of money on it. Give me ridiculous odds. I'll still take that bet because this is basic accounting stuff. This is not an error. This is just another way to funnel even more money out of the country to what was called the most corrupt country in Europe. So, if only we had like a, I don't know, an institution that would run checks on our own government, you know, like a fourth estate or something that would call into question this blatant lie. If only we had like, I don't know, a media that would push back on it. I haven't seen that. Have you? Nope. I haven't either. So, I don't know. Par for the course, I suppose. But it probably goes hand in hand with this next story about middle school math. So, why'd the reading scores among 13-year-olds hit rock bottom during the pandemic? Because you hardly get better at reading by watching TikTok. Yeah. So math and reading scores among 13-year-old students in the U.S. have hit the lowest level in decades, with math scores experiencing the largest decline ever recorded. The pandemic has a lasting effect on learning, and efforts to recover academically have not yielded improvements at all. Lower performing students in certain racial groups have been disproportionately affected. Must be systemic racism. Now, despite substantial investments in education recovery, the decline in schools persists, emphasizing the need for continued efforts to addressing learning loss and restore academic progress. So this shouldn't surprise a single person with a little bit of common sense. You know, you put kids on Zoom calls and they're not going to pay attention very much. We saw this over the whole pandemic, and I heard about it from, you know, people I know with kids about how they really weren't getting anything out of school. And there wasn't much teachers could do because, I don't know, the students are so fragile, you can't call them on anything. You know, they see them in Zoom, they see them playing on their phone. Teachers aren't allowed to do anything about it. If I were still a teacher, I'm sure I would have been fired by now for demanding better. So, yeah. Anyway, but this is no shock to anyone, but I don't know, perhaps, I'm just going to make a suggestion, perhaps maybe concentrate a little bit more on reading and writing and, you know, less on your gender expression. I don't know. We only have so many hours in the school day. Maybe work on reading. Maybe work on math. I don't know. That's probably just a silly idea of an old school guy like myself. But we got to end today with some good news. We need some good news. Some good American news. And I've got that for you right now. Blue whales are making a comeback in California. That's right. Going back to Cali. And sailors are quaking in their boat shoes. It's like a rock concert, but with less groupies, more krill. I think that joke was just for me. Blue whales, the largest animals on Earth, are making a comeback in California waters. Their population has reached 97% of pre-whaling levels, thanks to conservation efforts and a measure to reduce ship strikes and fishing-related harm. SEALs are also returning to Belgian beaches after a century, benefiting from protection and volunteer efforts. These stories showcase successful conservation and the importance of collective action for wildlife coexistence. So this is great news, and this is just something to keep in mind. We often will hear about how things are getting worse, everything's going to hell, right? But it is possible to turn these things around. You can turn things around. You know, when I was a teenager, it was all about the ozone layer. You know, the ozone layer, it was the demise of the ozone layer was going to kill us all. Oh, we'd all be dead by 2023 because there'd be no ozone layer, you know? Well, they figured it out. And that's the thing is, if you value education, if you value sharing knowledge, you can fix things. And we can fix things. That's the inspirational thought to get today. We can turn things around. We really can. And it appears, by all accounts, they've turned around the devastation to the blue whales. Yeah, we can do that if we put our minds to it. If we work on things that actually matter. If we don't get distracted by a lot of the nonsense. If we concentrate on things that are actually important for the survival of mankind and not, you know, made up stuff, we can really do something. And that's why it's so important to value these ideas. You know, it wasn't, you know, it was these Western ideas that were able to save the blue whales. And that's what needs to be celebrated. That's what needs to be encouraged. And not dismissed, like so many today are just dismissing this idea. But we really can make great changes going forward. And so that's inspirational to me. I hope it's inspirational to you. Everything's not gloom and doom. You know, sometimes we're able to turn stuff around. And not just civilization. Not just civilization can turn things around. You can turn things around yourself as well. You know, I've been working on my weight this year. And in 2.5 months, I'm down like 16 pounds. I'm still going, still working on it. It's never too late to make a change. And I think a lot of this catastrophizing the future about climate change and everything like that, it's a lot of doom and gloom. I think we can turn things around. It's not too late. We can do it. And if you're watching this video, or if you're watching this live stream, it's not too late for you either. You still have time to turn it around and to do the things you want to do. So that's my positive message that I leave you with today. Anyway, I hope you go out and have a glorious day. Stick around for the after show. I'll be going through your comments. And I'll be back tomorrow. See you then. Peace. Here we are in the after show. Thanks for sticking around, everyone. Not a whole lot of people on Rumble today. What is up with that? I don't know what is happening over there, but Duggo's checking in. What's up? Apothecary John. Nice to see you both. I'll be having some surprises over on Rumble, so if you haven't signed up yet, link is in the description. I also did put a new link in the description. If anyone's interested in buying some Chinese junk, everyone's talking about Temu. And it's a new, it's a Chinese company selling a bunch of, cheap crap. I'll probably talk about that more in the future. But I put up a little affiliate link, so if you want to support the show and you haven't signed up on Temu yet, you can click that link in the description, and I don't know, they'll send me $1 or something. Maybe a couple bucks, I don't know. But if someone would do that, check it out. I'd appreciate that. Link in the description. Anyway, YouTube. Good to see everybody. Lots of people over on the YouTube. Natasha, what's up, y'all? Yes, no music. I know. I don't understand. Every time we repeat lessons until we get them, right? And so I have a pre-show checklist that I go through. And one thing that I didn't put on my pre-show checklist was make sure the music works because, well, I didn't think of that yet. So I'm adding make sure the music works to my pre-show checklist, and then hopefully that won't be a problem again. But that's the thing in life. If you don't learn a lesson, somehow the universe will give you that lesson over and over and over again until you actually get it. So there we go. That's a little something today. I hope he has a nice celebration. The man is indeed a hero. I agree. Illusion of security, that's theater of security amateurs. TSA. Wish I had a shot of vodka in his honor. Well, you know, you can go out and get a shot of vodka. If you like. Snitches get stitches. Yikes. Exactly. That's the thing. You know, in my case, in one of the issues, I'm not going to get into what it was, but had I gone forward with it, I was told that I would probably have to never be in public again, that I would have to go into hiding, probably for the rest of my life. And I just didn't want to do that, and I didn't want to put my family in danger. And I wimped out. I did. And I'm not sure how I feel about that now. Well, what would our military-industrial complex do if peace broke out all of a sudden? Yeah. Kim Iverson keeps up with news such as Putin's response and more. Yeah, Kim Iverson's great. Yeah, she's great. That's all I can say about Kim. Love her. Imagine having to go to the bottom of the Atlantic to realize you have more money than sense. Well, you know, that's the thing is, I guess if you have all the... One of the things they say is when you have all the money that you ever need, often then people will try to get more power. That's one option. But maybe the other option is, you know, doing these extreme things. I don't blame anyone for following their dreams, if that was their dream to go down and check it out. If I had a submarine, I don't think I would name it the Titanic 2, though. That just seems like bad juju, you know, if you will. 48 billion, that would end homelessness forever. Not sure about that. I would love to see a collab with Tom and Kim. I would too. The issue is, you know, you can look at my views and you can understand why Kim would have no idea who I am. You know, that's what it is. We need to end pharma advertising, especially during news programs. Well, good luck with that. Don't think that's going to change. But it seems less and less people are watching the news, and I think that's probably a good thing. You know, the only ones who benefit from the accounting error is the guy who sells the ammunition. Well, it's also the guy that gets the kickback from selling the ammunition. You know, has anyone listened to the Joe Rogan interview with RFK Jr.? I did. It's 3 hours, and one of the nice things is, you know, RFK is a little hard to listen to because of his voice issue. You know, but after about 10 minutes, you get used to it, and you don't even notice it anymore. I thought it was an excellent talk. Obviously, I'm not co-signing everything the guy says, but he says some pretty interesting stuff. I would check it out. End homelessness forever. I don't think that's possible due to other issues. I would agree. I think it'd be tough doing that. Also, Jordan Peterson interview on RFK was removed from YouTube. Can also be found on Rumble. Also a good interview. Well, I didn't know that was on Rumble as well, but that's another reason to sign up for Rumble. Link in the description. You can sign up. I don't get anything if you sign up with the link in my description, but it shows me that you signed up, and that's something. That's something. Let's see. Jody says, I've got a backlog of Jordan Peterson, Thomas Sowell, and Bobby K. Jr. books that I need to read. Well, don't put on it that you need to do any of this stuff. Put it on the things that you get to do that thing. A little shift in focus might get you to actually do it. Natasha says, I'd love to read The Real Anthony Fauci. That was the book by RFK Jr. Tom, I think I'm gaining the weight you're losing. Yikes. Yikes. Well, just know that, everybody can turn things around. You really can. And, it's kind of like the blue whale. We thought the blue whales were going away. All of a sudden now, through some effort and time, everything takes longer than you think. You can bring it back. So good luck. Good luck with that. Anyway, that's all I have for you today. I hope you all have a beautiful day. I was going to talk about a big idea because it's Big Idea Wednesday. But as I was preparing the show today, I saw it was Edward Snowden's birthday, and I said, you know what? I'm going to put that to the side. This is more important. I want to give a shout out to Snowden. He's a hero of mine. So I called an audible, if you will. Anyway, that's all I have for you today. I'll be back tomorrow with some more stories. Hope you have a beautiful day. Until then, and I'll be back, hopefully some music. Until then, peace.